the one problem when you're on holiday is fitting everything in. So today's the 29th, but yesterday was 28th of July, day 9 of our trip in France. And we traveled from Arabès through to the campsite at Camping de Colombière, 7-hour trip. Pretty uneventful, really beautiful. We stopped for lunch. That was great. We arrived here about 5:30. And as often happens, you stumble across the really beautiful things. We were traveling through the very last town before we got here, and we saw this old building. Paula said, let's turn around and go and have a look at it. We did so, and it turned out to be Chateau de Effet. It's probably pronounced differently to that. It was owned by some or other owner who was first squire to King Louis XIII. He was very important in the army, and he wanted a home that reminded people of Versailles, and he did pretty well. Down a long funnel of trees, wonderful entrance, stunning chateau, and then gardens, front gardens, back, and 2 huge moats, just water flowing from one to the other. It must have been quite impressive. There was hardly anybody there, very little signage, so we thought, well, we're going to have a walk around. As we entered, we saw this gentleman walk towards us. He looked quite official, a little bit cross actually, and I thought, well, he's here just to tell us to please leave the property. He turned out to be the guide. He checked whether we spoke French. We didn't, and he handed us 2 A4 wads of information, really important, because the whole talk was in French. We don't speak French, but Paula was quite industrious. She turned on Google Translate, and I read over her shoulder everything he was saying. Needless to say, a lot of it wasn't translated correctly, and we ended up chuckling at the translations while they were all chuckling at his jokes. But it was a really lovely visit, and you could see that he was a really important person, a lot of influence. They built a church, supported the community. It is really quite interesting. They took us through the ground floor, huge rooms, painted ceilings. It must have been quite spectacular. The family still lives there on the upper floors, but the property needs maintenance. Historical sites are not treated nearly as the ones in UK are. Anyway, we arrived at the camp at 5:30. We made supper. We hand washed our clothes, hung them out to dry. They didn't dry properly. And then Paula did all the videos. Internet is really poor here, so we sat there until 12 o'clock at night just doing yesterday's video and sending it out to everyone.
The day before yesterday.
Well, this is holidays, you forget time. And that's that. That is day 9, done and dusted.
Bigger town we're going through, Vesoul. We are on the road, I think the next town, or in the direction of Grey. This is Mozi.
This is an old village, this one.
It's like raining straw. Dis amper by ons volgende campsite. It was a long drive today, but we had a nice stop early on at a chateau, unexpected. But I think we both will be glad, especially you, Mark, driving.
Absolutely.
It is warm, very warm. So, yeah, bit of shade and seat out of the car will be wonderful. It's a beautiful area once again. The whole route today was really lovely.